Hey everyone! Today we're diving into a super powerful idea for anyone just starting out in their career. It's pulled straight from Chapter 10 of Life, actually. We're going to talk about how you can build real influence and start leading right now, no matter what your job title is.
So let's kick things off with a question that probably hits pretty close to home for a lot of us. How do you actually lead when you're not the one in charge? It is so easy to fall into that trap of feeling like you're just an order taker, just waiting for that promotion or that new title to finally make a real impact. But as we'll see, that's a huge misconception.
And this quote from the author, Shubb, really nails it. Leadership isn't some position you wait for. It's about what you do. It's about being the person who steps in to organize confusion when a project goes off the rails, or the one who helps clarify a decision in a chaotic group chat. That's real leadership in action.
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to talk about leading without a title and how to escape that authority trap. Then we'll get into what the book calls the true currency of the workplace, influence. After that, we'll cover a really cool framework for managing in every direction. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a practical toolkit and the key takeaways. Sound good? Let's jump in. Okay, first up, escaping the authority trap. This is that super common belief that you need a fancy title, manager, director, lead, to actually make a difference. But here's the thing. Waiting for permission to lead is one of the biggest career mistakes you can make. Real impact comes from something else entirely.
And that brings us right to our next point, the currency of influence. See, authority is something that's given to you, but influence, that's something you earn. And it's the real engine that's going to drive your career forward way before you ever get that corner office. It's what gets people to buy into your ideas and help you get stuff done.
So, what even is influence, really? Well, it's definitely not about being the loudest person in the room. As Shubb puts it, it's all about your ability to guide people because they trust you and your judgment. It's something you build one interaction at a time through your credibility and insight. It's what makes people want to listen to you, not feel like they have to.
So how do you actually build this stuff? Well, the book lays out a really clear three-step path. It all starts with leading by example, because your actions speak way louder than your words. From there, you build credibility by being consistent, by being reliable. And finally, you tie it all together with clear communication that cuts through all the noise. Now this leads to a really practical framework from the book, the idea of managing in every direction. The point is that leadership isn't just about telling people who report to you what to do. It's about how you influence everyone around you, your boss, your team, and your peers.
Let's start with managing up. The goal here is simple. Make your boss's job easier. For instance, instead of just sending a message saying, "Hey, the client's upset," you reframe it. Try something like, "The client is concerned about X. I've thought of two possible solutions, A or B. Which one do you think is best?" See the difference? You're not just dropping problems in their lap, you're reducing their uncertainty, and that builds a ton of trust.
Next, managing down. And listen, this applies even if you don't have anyone reporting to you. This is about setting the standard for the team. When you're the one who always shares credit publicly, or the one who is unbelievably reliable, you're not just doing good work, you're actually helping to build a better, more supportive team culture from the ground up. And finally, we have managing sideways. This is all about building strong relationships and goodwill with your colleagues. Shubb makes a great point that this comes from being consistent and helpful without keeping a running tally of who owes who. When your peers know they can count on you, that having you on a project makes things better, not harder, your influence just skyrockets.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get into the how. Let's talk about the practical, day-to-day behaviors that actually build all this influence we're talking about. Think of this as your personal leadership toolkit.
All right, here's your checklist. It starts with leading by example. Doing what you say you'll do every single time is the absolute foundation of trust. Next, communicate clearly. Don't just tell people what to do. Share the why behind it to get them invested. Make it a habit to give credit where it's due. It shows you're a team player. And this next one from Shubb is huge. Own your mistakes. Acknowledge it, fix it, and explain how you'll prevent it from happening again. That builds way more trust than pretending you're perfect. And finally, empower others by sharing what you know. Don't hoard information.
So, we have covered a lot of ground here. Let's boil it all down to the most important points that you can take with you and, start using tomorrow.
So if you remember anything from this, let it be this. First, leadership is a verb. It's a set of behaviors, not a title you have to wait for. Second, Your influence is built on the credibility and trust you earn with your everyday actions. And third, be intentional about managing in all directions. Support your boss, empower your team, and build trust with your peers. That's how you make yourself truly valuable.
And that brings us to the end. So I want to leave you with one final question to think about. Based on everything we've covered from Shubb's work today, what is the one small, specific action you're going to take tomorrow to start building your influence and leading, right from where you are right now? Thanks so much for tuning in.